When we talk about prices at a Walt Disney World resort, we're usually thinking about like $3 or $4 for a hot dog. However, a new experience coming to Walt Disney World Resort in Florida is the Cake Bake Shop, and we're seeing reports of $32 hamburgers and $8 for a side of broccoli. Let's talk about the highest priced restaurant this side of Victoria and Albert's here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is theme park connoisseur, Mr. VashSky. Vash, are you ready to lay down some big bucks so that you can review the Cake Bake Shop at Disney?
Oh, I don't know if I have that amount of big bucks to spend on reviewing this restaurant here. You know, Jonas, I've heard the expression "let them eat cake," but man, this is ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous, and we're going to WDWNT here for this story. A $23 egg sandwich, $26 cake slices, and $32 hamburger revealed on Cake Bake Shop menu at Walt Disney World. For those of you who don't know what the Cake Bake Shop is, they've got locations in the Midwest. It is super decadent inside, and it is I'm not going to say it's overpriced because, you know, if I want to get an item for my wife from the Cake Bake Shop, it's usually goes over pretty well. And then the people who don't get an item from the Cake Bake Shop are usually jealous. It is very high end. All of the cakes sparkle because I don't know what they do specifically that makes them sparkle. Someone who has culinary experience, I'm sure, will let me know in the comment section down below. But it is one of the most feminine, one of the most glamorous little shops that you can imagine. It was like a little girl, like if Fancy Nancy made the most expensive cake shop that you ever could imagine, it would be this right here. Vash, have you been to a cake bake shop yet?
I have not been to a cake bake shop, and it does sound very intriguing, but at these prices, Jonas, I don't know if anybody's necessarily going to be able to indulge in a cake bake shop, at least on Walt Disney World property. And apparently this headline from Walt Disney World News Today by Phil Wood, but we also have another one from Blog Mickey over here. Recipe for disaster, exorbitant menu prices, 40% cake slice markups revealed for the Cake Bake Shop at Disney's Boardwalk. I bring up this one because apparently there is an uptick in these prices with it being a Walt Disney World property. We've talked about before how, you know, Disney often they take a big slice of that cake, let's say, when they have proprietors doing business on Walt Disney World property. Apparently, this is no different. But 40% uptick. That's a lot, Jonas. And again, this is at the Boardwalk here. This isn't even at Disney Springs, where parking is included. I was going to say free, but we know the tax situation out there and how, you know, Disney does charge taxes on let's say it's other people within the district there in order to pay for those parking structures and so forth. So included parking. This is the Boardwalk, though, so you're going to have to pay a markup for parking if you want to go to this specific location as well, nestled right next to Disney's Hollywood Studios and Epcot.
Right, and I just want to point out, if we're talking about the original cake bake shops that are not at Disney Springs, it's $115 for the small cake, the one that serves 6 people. If you want the one that serves 12, we're looking at a $215 cake there. That would be just for the apple crumble cake. No note on how much it would cost to get the gluten-free version of that cake. This is a very high-end shop, and I'm just going to say it's also, I don't want to say it's quick service, but it's supposed to be the kind of place that you walk in and you go in, $8 for a Sprite. My goodness. And it sparkles just as much as the Sprite out of a freestyle machine at your local Burger King, which those are getting pretty expensive, but not $8 expensive, we're thinking here.
Not $8, not a Walt Disney World property where it's, I don't know if you've been, Jonas, recently, but it's, you know, it can get pretty hot there in the summertime. $8 for a drink, I don't know, that seems a little bit like highway robbery to me. You can actually see the selection of cakes right there. And yes, right there, $26 for a slice there. Like you said, we're talking hundreds if you want the whole cake, as it were. what, $42 egg crab cake eggs Benedict. Again, that's crab cakes with hollandaise sauce on it. And Blog Mickey actually goes into some more here. The charcuterie board is $10 more expensive than other Cake Bake Shop locations. The pesto burrata is $6 more expensive. The quiches, $10 more expensive. The sandwiches,
There's an old cheek. It's pronounced quiche.
Oh, quiche. I do apologize. The quiche, $10 more expensive. The sandwiches are $5 to $8 more expensive. Even the peanut butter and jelly off the children's menu enjoys a 40% markup at Walt Disney World. Yes, peanut butter and jelly, folks, $18 at this distinct location at Walt Disney World.
Right, that's an additional $5 over the overly expensive $13 peanut butter and blackberry jam sandwich available at other locations. And you have to be under 12 in order to get that one.
Oh, yeah, well, for the privilege, I suppose. More than 2 years after construction began, it looks like the Cake Bake Shop is nearing the home stretch before opening sometime this year at Disney's Boardwalk. Construction walls came down this past Friday, giving guests a first look at the full exterior of the restaurant and bakery. The Cake Bake Shop replaced the old ESPN Club menu with some structural changes. People were saying that this location has been in the works for so long that, well, they had to make up for those construction costs. That was kind of a joke there from Braden over there, which is pretty funny. Yeah, the ESPN Club venue went down in 2022. So it has been under construction for a long time here. And so people were looking at this with great anticipation. But I think a lot of dreams were dashed when they looked at those exorbitant menu prices. And I mean, apparently they might actually inflate even higher. As we've seen ticket prices increase at Disneyland. I'm sure there'll be a range of increases at Walt Disney World very soon. And here's the thing, Jonas. We also know that Portos will be coming to Disneyland, downtown Disney, and we can only assume that a price increase from being a Disneyland property will hit this location as well. So we'll be keeping track of these stories and just what that Disney tax will be when these stores eventually open.
Yeah, and for those of you who are not aware of just how decadent the Cake Bake Shop is, and there are women in my life who, if they think that I'm bad mouthing the Cake Bake Shop, they will come after me here. So I need to point out that they are a high end experience, and I know people who like to go as often as they can afford to go. So it is a high-end experience. I'm going to say at this point, you might be better off flying to one of the states where they have them at, and I'm not going to say a discount, still paying, ridiculous amounts of money for all of this stuff for that $215 cake. That's not quite the bargain. That's not the price range I usually describe as a bargain, but they are kind of a one of a kind experience here. So there's something to be said for that. But wow, if you are at Disney's Boardwalk, I keep wanting to say Disney Springs here. I think that you could probably get maybe even a better experience from the Cake Bake Shop if you go elsewhere. That also being said, there are probably, and this is thoroughly themed in ways that maybe even Disney won't be theming their restaurants, because this is so abundantly feminine that I'm impressed, even though it's not my cup of tea, which, by the way, I do believe a pot of tea at one of their regular locations is at least $15. Yikes! That is a pot of tea that is water that has some leaves soaked in it. By the way, I don't know if you're aware of that. That's all the tea is. They heat up the water and they put leaves in it.
Yes, they do have a extensive tea menu, and some of these go for more than $10, like Jonas was saying right there. I will say, Gideon's Bakehouse with their $6 cookies is looking like an incredible value when compared to this. And look, I mean, perhaps this is really good stuff. I mean, I see salad spelled with an E there, so makes it all fancy. But
it does. And I'm also going to point out the afternoon tea menu at one of these locations, about $65 per person, $45 if it's a person under 12 years old. This is not a inexpensive location to go to, but wow, I still am shocked at the prices here for Disney Resort.
This is exorbitant right here. And again, this is not in Disney Springs. You had to travel some ways in order to get to this location if you do happen to find yourself in Disney Springs, or you have to exit the theme parks of either Epcot, Disney Hollywood Studios, right near the almost like the Swan Dolphin Boardwalk area, all of that, Beach Club, that kind of area. And I mean, look, I understand that there are high-priced hotels located in that area, so perhaps people are maybe more accustomed to spending this much. But, for a boardwalk location, even I was taken aback at just how expensive this all is. And again, we noted here on this show and others that Disney does ask its proprietors for quite a bit of that slice there. So perhaps some of that can be attributed to it, but I can't think that that's all of it.
It is expensive on its own, but it's also, if I'm just going to guess, I'm thinking the locations that are not at Disney Springs are probably going to be the more unique ones because they'll have more freedom to do whatever they want. But I understand this is a location that has its audience, as ridiculous as the prices may be. You know who I feel bad for? The husband or boyfriend of someone who is watching this video and seeing all of these pictures scrolling by here and going, oh, we have to go there. So, just maybe don't let your wife watch this one here. I'm never going to eat in one of these for as long as I can avoid it. I've only stopped in to pick up a cookie or two. By the way, one cookie is like $8 at a standard location, as standard as you if that is the right word to describe a place like this. But, to each their own. Look at that guy right there. Look at how much money he must be spending. All right. If I can get myself back out of trouble here.
Well, and here's the thing, Jonas. You see this very broad and extensive menu featuring all kinds of various dishes and so forth. I just kind of wonder how they're able to keep the quality level that high, how much storage space that they actually require to keep a lot of these ingredients in stock, how much training that their staff actually goes through in order to maintain a menu like this. I see some problems as well with this whole thing, but maybe to each their own.
Yep, to each their own. Well, the question that I want to ask our subscribers and our commenters here, will you be going to the cake bake shop at Disney's Boardwalk, or will you be, cheaping out and just buying plane tickets to maybe their Broad Ripple? I believe that's where one of their locations is. I don't even know where these things are. I just stick into the Google Maps and make the long drive on occasion if I happen to be traveling and I come by one. By the way, they'll give you a nice bag to bring home with you there. It is a nice bag that they put all of this very expensive Sprite into. Well, that being said, like this video if you found it informative in any way. And of course, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.